This morning we stand together with NOPD Sergeant Robert Barrere, Homicide Prosecutors Andre Jeanfro and Adele Krieger, Trial Assistant Aaron Fuening, Investigator Adrian Malone. Our victim witness advocate on this case was Jasmine Hillier, and also on my right and directly behind me we have Director Michelle Woodfork and Director Holly Freeman from our OSINT task force, because I've tasked them with doing an autopsy of every single successful case we do so that we can learn lessons from these cases to apply to future cases with the OSINT work that we're doing. We're here to update you on the case against Jermaine Briscoe for the heinous killing of Raven Veal and their unborn child. First and foremost, we ask that you continue to pray for this family. This verdict in no way closes or mitigates their grief. We extend our sincere thanks to the jurors for holding Jermaine Briscoe accountable and finding him guilty of second-degree murder, first-degree feticide, and attempted obstruction of justice. I want to be clear with you on a couple of things. This was not a matter of two people in the midst of some sort of heated argument. This was not someone acting out of rage or with hot blood. This was pure avarice. This was evil. In the months leading up to Raven's death, the defendant, Briscoe, was seemingly preoccupied with ensuring that she had a valid life insurance policy. Briscoe's actions were calculated, horrific, and atrocious. On November 9th, 2016, Jermaine Briscoe shot Raven Veal in front of her 3-year-old daughter. He then yanked that young toddler out of the vehicle and left her on the side of the street, and then proceeded to drive over Raven's pregnant body again and again, leaving this innocent toddler to see the carnage of her mother's body lying in the roadway. I want to thank the Good Samaritan and the neighbor who put themselves in harm's way to signal and call out to that little girl to have her run to her for safety. Every single act of kindness in these horrific moments matters. Raven was only 22 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her, and with a full-term pregnancy, expecting to go into labor at any time. In fact, she was still wearing the hospital name tag from her pre-delivery check-in at the time of her death. Obviously, violence is unacceptable in the city of New Orleans in any form, but this level of depravity is especially notable. Her loved ones and surviving child will never quite escape this nightmare. We do hope that this verdict gives and provides some measure of closure, but obviously no little girl is going to forget seeing what this man did to her mother. Justice in this case was long awaited, overcoming 2 previous failed attempts to bring this matter to resolution. The first trial ended in a hung jury, and the second resulted in a mistrial. I want to absolutely lift up and celebrate the hard work of putting this case together and acknowledge the diligent work of the NOPD, Sergeants Rob Barrere and Sergeant Daniel Hyatt in particular, as well as this prosecution team for the dedication and meticulous attention to detail necessary to finally bring this case to close. And at this time, I'd like to bring up ADA Andre Jeanfro to share a few words about his involvement with this case. And I want to bring up his partner in trying this case and delivering Justice Adele Krieger after that. Andre?
We just really want to thank the Veal family for persevering. As Mr. Williams said, this was 8 years coming, and they had faith in the system. They persevered. They stayed with it through the whole time. There's nothing we can do that can ever bring Raven back, but hopefully this does give him a measure of justice and a measure of closure. Thank you.
Andre, thank you. Andre retired from the FBI, and when we made our clarion call for experienced homicide unit attorneys, he came out of that retirement to come back to the DA's office where he cut his teeth, and I can't thank you enough for joining this fight. I want to ask one of our younger attorneys, but every bit as powerful as our senior attorneys, Adele Krieger. Thank you for the work that you did on this case.
Thank you, DA Williams. Domestic violence is a plague on our community. Raven Veal should be here. So should her unborn child. And after 8 long years, we can finally give this family some closure and some relief after their perseverance and faith in the justice system. Thank you.
Thank you, Adele. As we approach the sentencing phase, we remain resolute in our commitment to securing accountability for this grievous loss. We stand with all of the victims of violence in this community. But after just letting me walk you through this particular account, you can see why this case was front of mind every single day for these attorneys, this NOPD sergeant, and for the investigators and victim witness folks that were involved in this case. This toddler's experience demanded that every single I was dotted and every single T was crossed to make sure this man never sets foot on free land again. Micah?
Okay, any on-topic questions? Start with WDSU. Yeah, what do you think was different this time around with the trial? I know you said before there was a hunting jury, and before that it didn't pan out as well. What was different this time to actually see this finally?
You know, I'll tell you, every single retrial is harder for the prosecution. The defense can hear the strategy, they know how the case is going to be laid out, and so they've got real experience on how to defend from it. But I'd like for you to hear from the homicide attorneys that were in the room on that battlefield to deliver. Which one do you want to take?
One of the big differences we had is we had members of the community that stepped up. In the first trial, Michaela Anthony was not available, and she stepped up and came. She's since moved out of state, but she was the Primerica representative that oversaw the insurance. So between her coming forward as well as just a thorough review of the evidence, I think that is something that made a big difference. When the community helps, we can do our jobs a lot better.
And then last question, as far as sentencing, are you guys asking for life in prison?
Yes, ma'am. So under the statute, a conviction of second-degree murder carries a mandatory life sentence.
Adele, you want to take?
Sure. You know, I think every time a case goes to trial, it presents certain challenges, but being able to really look over the history of the case and study the transcripts and be able to focus on a new view, a new look on the case, that really made a big difference here. Obviously, Mr. Carter is an amazing attorney. He fought very hard for his client, but at the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and we were able to prevail.
I mean, Greg Carr is one of the best lawyers in the city. He knows how to try a case very, very well. These lawyers here are being very humble. They made adjustments. They pivoted. They looked for more evidence. They tried to show more than what was presented before. And as you heard me mention before, having Holly and Michelle study these cases while we're trying them, after we've tried them, and also studying some of the losses that the office has as well, to refine our methodology and our techniques so that we can figure out how technology and our human resources can deliver better results. That's going to impact other cases like this. You know, obviously there is an interpersonal domestic component to this, but avarice and greed really rule the day. WGNO.
Congratulations for securing this conviction, and I hate to go back to these previous attempts, but it kind
You know, every jury is different. Jury selection is the most important part of a trial. It gives us an opportunity to talk to jurors about how they see New Orleans, how they see the criminal justice system. There's a deep amount of distrust of law enforcement in the city of New Orleans sometimes. And sometimes that affects really strong, solid police work and solid prosecution work. And it means we've got to go above and beyond to make sure that we can prove a case. The code, the law doesn't require us to prove and show motive. But every human being wants that. They expect it in a courtroom. And I think this trial team delivered every single thing that this jury needed in this particular case, because as you know, it's a different standard now. The jury has to be unanimous. If there is one person who is not convinced, then we're back at another hung trial.
And do you all hope that this sends a message to other victims who may find themselves in an abusive relationship that there is hope for them and a person will be met with justice?
Absolutely. I mean, part of the reason why we do these updates after trials is to make sure that the public can see the end result of the cases that all of you all cover when we hear about them, but sometimes a year or 2 years or even more time is required in order for there to be a resolution. And we want the public to understand, especially survivors of crime and victims of crime, to understand that these folks are all dedicated and working early morning, nights, weekends to make sure that the people that are hurting people in this community are held accountable. And every single time I'm at a microphone, I'm going to speak out to anybody who finds themselves in a cycle of abuse and to let them know that, you know, in all likelihood, it is not going to stop on its own. It will only escalate. And the only way to get past it is to get away from it. And there are services within the DA's office, outside the DA's office, that can help people break those ties, whether it's bank accounts, whether it's only having only one car, only one home, not having family. It's not easy, but going through something like this is far worse. Any other questions? Thank you, everybody.